What's up, guys? Phil Mercy here, and today we've got the second video of our Super Sunday, which is a podcast. So just have it in the background, while you're playing RuneScape or doing anything like that, doing some homework. And I've got a guest with me today, which is a good friend of mine called Sanneck. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Sanneck, and if you don't know, I'm not from the UK, but generally, oh well.
It's a first time for everyone. But yeah, basically we've got a few things planned to talk about, such as the graphical updates, our opinions of them, because of course Jagex is overhauling practically the whole of RuneScape graphically. Also new bosses that are being released, such as the Queen Black Dragon and also the Cowfight King. Some things that we've been up to today together, how we're kind of helping each other XP wise. Also talking about the up and coming bonus XP weekend, and also some Slayer. So if we'd first get into the first topic, which is the graphical updates and our opinions on them, what do you think of the updates and how do you think they're affecting RuneScape?
Well, Jagex started doing graphical updates for most of the year, and to be honest, they are good, but the fail in it is the game engine hasn't been updated, so everything that they update graphically just lags the game. And this happens every time they do this.
Yeah. Yeah, carry on.
And the first part at which this was apparent was after the Ritual of the Madra, at which for those who completed the quest and gone to Edgeville will surely know what I'm talking about.
I know, and it's like, also I think I've mainly noticed it after they released the Berthorpe graphical update.
That's the worst bit.
That was absolutely awful. Trying to run through Berthorpe was actually like trying to run through kind of glue in heavy boots. It just doesn't work. You lag so much. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then, to make things worse, they kind of increased the area size, and so everything got sort of replaced, and it wasn't just a general kind of aesthetics update. It was kind of a replacing almost of everything.
They messed up.
They completely, yeah.
The most apparent mess up that they made is the area where the Goblin Village is. Basically, they cut off the Edgeville wall in that area, as well as moved the Chaos altar.
Oh yeah.
So it's not passable anymore.
Oh, I remember.
Well, for those who watched RuneShark's attempt at a race, well, sure you know, but oh well.
Yeah, it's the Zamorak wine. They kind of cut off that, which was, it wasn't really expected, and now the only way to get there is basically going through the wilderness past the mine altar, I believe, which it's something that I don't think Jagex really thought about, but they haven't sought to adjust it as of yet. Also, the graphical update that I was probably most impressed with was not such a graphical update, but the introduction of a new update which brought with it graphical changes was actually the It was with the Ganodermic beasts. What's it called? What's the lair?
Oh, the Polypod
dungeon. There we go. Yeah, the way that had depth about it, and also the bloom effects that were utilised and the kind of fading out. If you were playing on max graphical settings, it looked really, really good, and it wasn't too laggy. So I don't know what they've done there, but perhaps they could implement that with the Berthorpe. But the thing is, like you said, they haven't really updated the game engine as such. I know it's something that the development team are really focusing on, but it's something that they need to alter pretty soon, I think, because a lot of people are complaining about FPS issues, and if this continues, I think they're going to lose a lot more people, and nothing that the Squeal of Fortune is going to make up for with membership loss.
Agreed. And also, other things that we can discuss is the future graphical updates. Next week is coming the Armor graphical update, the second batch.
Yeah.
And they're doing a shitload of that.
Yeah, I mean they're
I mean,
releasing.
200 different armor pieces are getting graphically updated. And I was also the first of this small band that actually found the leaked pictures.
Yeah, you showed me the Dragonhide pictures before anyone else really saw them, and you know, I think that the Dragonhide looks very good, although they've got the pictures with the coif, and to be fair, not a lot of people use the coif, so it'll be interesting to see how that works, because I don't know whether more and more people start to use it because it's been graphically updated or not, but the Neat is not Helm, Neat is not, I don't know, RuneScape recently released a pronunciation guide, but I've not kind of got to grips with that yet. But, you know, the Dragonhide coif is not something that I mean, the Black Dragonite coif, for those of you who have seen it, looks very cool, but all the others look a bit weird. And Saradomin, as I was mentioning to you, as soon as you showed me the pictures, looks a bit out of place. It's got gold and blue, which I don't know, I didn't quite get. But I mean, obviously, it's an improvement on the old Dragonhide because the old Dragonhide literally looked like black with grey lines through it, basically. But you know, anything's an improvement, I guess.
Well, also on the coifs, most of them, well, if not all, come from the Fist of Gothics
Yeah.
minigame, and to recharge them actually involves doing the minigame, and not a whole lot of people like to do it.
No.
So we won't see that this incorporation into the game quite often.
Yeah. And what do you think of the way that they're going to be updating the Bandos and the Torva as well? Obviously, we've not seen any leaked pictures of the Bandos or the Torva yet, but what are your opinions on it? I mean, do you think they're updating the Pernix and the Virtus as well, even though they haven't stated it, or?
Well, if they are updating everything now, and they stated that they'll update Bandos and Torva, they should also tackle the Phoenix Avertus, because they are also updating the magic armors, the robes,
Yeah.
and as well as Void, the Slayer helmets, basically a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've even heard whispers of graphically updating the third age armors.
Yeah. What do you think that they're going to graphically update the armors then?
It's only a whisper, so it may be so, maybe not, but not a whole lot of people use third age armor because it's rare for the stuff, and also because there are better alternatives, because only a slight increase in stats does seem to beg the question if it's really worth the extra cash invested into it.
I mean, with regards to the Torva being graphically updated, I think that if we do see a change to the Torva without there being an update to the Pernix and Virtus, it will look very strange. Particularly those with neck sets. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have a neck set, and you know, to wear Torva, which will look hopefully graphically amazing, and then go to something like Pernix and Virtus, it will almost seem like I don't ever want to wear Pernix or Virtus because I'll look crap. But I don't know. I hope that they do update them at the same time. I mean, obviously they'd released they were updating the Armadillo armor, and they released intentionally leaked into the game the Armadillo proposed armor update, which I don't agree with. I think that the Armadillo armor looks disgusting, as most of you already probably know. That's my opinion on it. I think it looks like a fish, and I don't think I'll change my opinion unless they change the helm. But I think that they need to be updated at the same time. If that means delaying the Torva graphical update, then so be it, but I think they need to update all three at the same time. Otherwise, I don't know, I think it would just be weird. It's like going from having Dragon, but only updating the Dragon plate body and not the Dragon chain. It will seem a bit odd. It's like, you know, when they done the Jad update and they done all the Tazahar rework and stuff, they didn't update the Jad pet until later. And so the Jad pet looked really out of place. And I think it might be the same with this, so.
Well, they should really do this. And I also can comment on the Armadillo armor. If they if they want to update it into a better look, they shouldn't make it into the way that they actually did it, because if you want to make an armor that looks good on a bird, it will also look good on a fish for
Yeah,
some odd reason.
yeah. Birds and fishes carry very similar kind of appearances. I don't know. Anyone who does biology will really know that the kind of the birds and the fish almost share. It's like the dinosaurs. A lot of people thought that dinosaurs had kind of relations to fish, starting off in the sea and then transforming, but they're actually related to birds, and so you've got this mixture between the two. And I think Jagex have kind of done the same miserably by accidentally trying to create a bird-like kind of armor and ended up creating a fish armor. But there's nothing we can do about it now. They're going to implement it into the game. Luckily, I'm just about wealthy enough not to have to wear Armadillo, thankfully. But for those of you who do have to wear Armadillo, you're going to be walking around looking like massive fishes.
Well, I can also state that if they are updating all these armors, they will have to update the NPCs that also wear similar armors.
Yeah.
So the Avances, the Ancient Warriors, and also Grador.
Yep, I know.
You know, the Bandos boss?
Yeah, because he's wearing bandos.
Yeah, a huge undertaking to even think about this, and it's coming next week. So if they update the armors but not the actual NPCs,
Major flaw.
Yes,
that will be a major. I mean, if I go into Bandos and see Bandos before, as it was Grador before the update, but yet Bandos chestplate and tassets have changed, and the boots, 2 boots, I got last trip, horrible. But anyways, enough of the trolling by Jagex. Yeah, if the boots, chestplate, and the tassets have been updated, but Grador hasn't. Oh, Jagex, you've been slacking horribly. You've been focusing too much on updating Adamant and not enough on updating God Wars, unfortunately. But, as players, all we can do is complain and hope they change it. I am, however, looking forward to, hopefully, they're going to update the Tokhar Cal pretty soon with some purple, bloom, or particle effects, which would be great.
Well, the cape that you mentioned, most of you know it as the Rhino cape that James's girlfriend stated. But to me, I would name it a Sanneck tail, but oh well.
Yeah, I don't really see where the Rhino comes into it. I guess with the almost upside down horn-like kind of feature on the back, but definitely a tail of some kind. The way it wiggles as well when you're just standing still, it looks definitely more like a centipede or a millipede tail, I think. But shall we move on to the new kind of topic that we've got written down then?
Right. So our skilling, right?
Yeah, let's move on to the skilling that we've got. Which
we did some thieving after you did some pickpocketing at Ape Atoll.
Mm-hmm.
Would you share some opinions on that?
Yeah, well, basically I went to Monkey Knife Fighters on Ape Atoll, which after you've done the Do No Evil quest, you can get about, supposedly, 260k XP per hour in thieving. However, it requires clicking constantly, very tedious, very monotonous, and it is an absolute bugger. And as soon as I hit 81, which meant I can access the next floor at Pyramid Plunder, me and Von decided to go straight away to Pyramid Plunder and train thieving together, which actually worked out great, didn't it, Von?
Indeed, after some others decided to do Pyramid Plunder as well, and that just bugged us as well. But when we were on our own, we basically were searching a way to get to the higher level rooms, and we actually succeeded quite well, right?
Yeah, I mean, we basically took, if there were 4 doors in the room, I'd take the 2 eastern, Von would take the 2 western, and then whoever got the door we'd follow through. And it was basically cutting down, almost halving the time it takes. So if you are thinking of doing any good Pyramid Plunder, I would advise getting a partner to do it with, and then you can progress through the levels equally. I mean, at the moment, you're on 84 thieving, aren't you?
Yes.
And I'm currently on 82, so I'll probably try to catch up with you, and then we can train it progressively through the levels together, because we should be getting roughly the same XP per hour as each other if we're doing it at the same time.
Right, and also I have to say some of the loots we were getting at the final room, what was room 7,
Yeah.
was quite freaky. I mean,
it was amazing that we could basically call what drops we would get out of the urns. I mean, Von would be, say, one ahead of me. He'd say what he got. I'd get exactly the same. And we would do this for the whole entire room. We would get equally the same drop. So say
we
he'd
were
get a gold.
laughing.
I know, it was amazing. I mean, imagine if one of us got a Pharaoh Scepter. We'd be like, yes, I'm going to get one as well then. It'd be brilliant. But it was really weird that we were getting identical loot, which, I don't know, is it a glitch? I don't know. But perhaps if you do it right at the same time, the urn gives the same amount. Or the same
Maybe.
type of loot, I don't know.
Maybe, but it might also be the similar outfits that we were wearing.
Yeah, we were pretty much identical apart from the anti-poison totem, really, weren't we?
All that, yes. I did spend my points before I got any chaotics, so that's my choice, but
Yeah. I mean, I took the
blame
route
me
of...
if you want, but it's my life and my character.
Flame him, guys. Flame him in the comments about how he got an anti-poison totem. No, I'm only kidding. I wish I got one. Rather than getting a bloody chaotic staff that I rarely use, but, you know, it comes in handy if I'm ever maging, I guess, so... Anyway,
After your chaotic mole, you can get the thing.
Yeah,
So
I think the maul will come prior to the anti-poison totem, unless, of course, I get into thieving with you, and it becomes something that I'd really like to do. However, anti-poison pluses, if you haven't noticed in the G, are about 1.5k each, when I remember them being about 12k each. So, they're so cheap for what they are as well. It's brilliant.
massive fluctuation in prices even today, but
Yeah, I mean,
stuff happens.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. Anyways, enough of our skilling. I guess we should move on to the topic of bonus XP weekend, which is coming up, well, within the next is it the 2 weeks? Is it in 2 weeks, I believe, or 3 weeks?
It starts on the 16th.
Okay, so about 2 weeks then.
Yeah.
So what do you have planned for the bonus XP weekend then, if you'd like to let them know?
I'm basically gonna do, first of all, Herblo, and then just fishing until the weekend ends. So, yeah. And the method I'm using for Herblo isn't the viable method I'm using. I'm fail at it and got a lot of vine herbs, and now I'm gonna use them up for the bonus XP weekend. And for that, I took the task and started collecting the vines.
And you're currently needing, how many is it? Overall, like, tracking vines anyway. How many tracking vines have you needed?
In all, I need 2,560 vines, and 2 of the 3 are tracking.
And for those of you who don't know, tracking is very long. It takes about 35 seconds to get one vine, and if you need something like 1.8k of them, that is a long time, and that is what Von's got to do before bonus XP weekend, so he gets free Herbler XP. But overall, in terms of the Hunter XP gained and the Herbler XP gained overall, it's worth doing, isn't it?
I would smash my head against the wall. Whoever thought of doing this for the skill to do it, to make it fun, to be punched in the face.
Yeah, well, it's not the most pleasant way of training, I must admit, but you know, it's something that you've decided to undertake, unlike me, which I've actually bought the planks prior to the bonus XP weekend. I bought 42,000 mahogany planks. It cost me 96 mil, and they've risen to 110 mil because of the bonus XP weekend being announced. So luckily I bought it a few weeks in advance and saved myself some money, which is always good. But that will, in theory, get me to 99 with the bonus XP, which will be great. And it saves me ultimately a lot of clicking, really. So that's always good.
The not so nice thing about it is you will need to do it all in a row. So you'll basically be doing construction for about 10 hours straight.
Yeah, well, I can log out and it freezes the timer, luckily. I'll probably do it in kind of 2 hour spurts almost. 2 hours, go off, do work, 2 hours, go off, do work, because I don't think I can sit 10 hours and do construction. I would rather kill myself happily than do construction for 10 hours, which is why ultimately I'm doing it on bonus XP weekend, because it's halving the time needed, and saving the cost as well, so I can't complain whatsoever.
Well, I did construction without the bonus XP weekend, but I did manage to collect a lot of Sacred Clay hammers. And I can say, oh my god,
Yeah.
the time to get the hammers, and especially at high levels, from level 82 to 86, which I currently have, I needed 17 hammers.
That's horrible, isn't it? I mean, I think the way, I mean, I'm going to go on to the effigy topic quickly that, most of you will probably know that I'm not too pleased about. It's something that I think needed to happen, but I don't really like the fact that it happened while I was trying to get maxed, but there's nothing I can do about that. But basically, I think that because we pay for the game almost, and there are skills that people dislike. Why should we be forced to do something that we dislike? Rather than nerf effigies, basically a lot of people used effigies on RuneCraft. Why don't you just increase the RuneCraft XP per hour? So for those of you who do want to get the best XP per hour, you wouldn't hoard effigies. You'd go and do RuneCraft because it would ultimately save you time. And I think that's what was needed. Rather than nerfing effigies completely, maybe limit them to just Slayer. And for those of you who aren't on a task, the effigies are a lot rarer. Also, you could, like I said, increase the XP rates of other skills, which is something that I think would be a better option.
Well, from last year's RuneFest, which was, apparent that a lot of players wanted a new minigame dedicated to rune crafting. So this year we'll be seeing a rune crafting minigame, which will give the best XP for it. But because it will be the best XP for it, you basically won't get any rewards from it.
Yeah.
Apart from some odd items, but oh well, that's just how it goes around RuneScape.
Yeah.
And also on the topic, when they released runecrafting, it was apparent it's gonna be a long haul to get the skill up. And also they were trolling us miserably with the last runecrafting altar, which is the soul altar.
Oh yeah, that's in the rune, in the Wicked Hood, isn't it? The Soul Altar is there, but you can't go there. And also it's in the Abyss. When the Abyss was first released, the Soul Altar was placed there, but you can't yet access it. So I think that Jagex have released that the Soul Altar will be actually put into the game, and I believe that there was a sort of leak accidentally by Jagex which said that if you tried to click on something like the Runic Hood or click on a Soul Rune, after you've got a level, it said that you needed like 90 runecraft to actually craft the soul rune. So I think that's definitely something that Jagex are actually thinking about. Whether or not people do too many of it, too many soul runes, because the soul runes are frankly not that great money compared to something like blood runes. We'll have to see. But if the XP is good enough to challenge something like double nature runes or blood rune crafting or ZMI, then I think the soul runes could be a viable option for people with 90 plus rune crafting. So
back to the effigy nerf. I think it started with the actual update with effigies, as stated with Mod Mark he and most of the staff, they didn't like the way that people viewed effigies, but they didn't do anything in 2 years.
yeah,
And they only took action after they changed the combat levels of monsters. For people that don't know, the mummies that are in the desert treasure from the desert treasure pyramid, they spawn with just 10 life points. You know them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they increased the combat level from what was 104 to 138, and basically they became a very quick way of getting effigies.
Yeah.
Basically made gathering effigies AFKable.
Yeah.
To be fair, Jagex was to blame for that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, Jagex often punish the players for their mistakes, which I don't quite get, because ultimately Jagex made the error of that, and yet we got punished by the removal of effigies. I do think that they could have simply just lowered down the combat level of the mummies.
Or just remove the
or remove
method
them
of
from the drop
getting...
table. Yeah, remove the effigy from the drop table of the mummies altogether. I mean, they drastically kind of overdone the necessary kind of action that needed to be taken, which was a bit awful for a lot of players that all of a sudden got a surprise. I mean, they were anticipating the fight cave update and the fight kiln, the whole Tazar graphical rework. Really excited about that, and then the effigies come out and they say that, oh, by the way, you're only allowed to have 5 in your bank, and they get increasingly rarer after 1. It's sort of like, well, that's not really fair, you know. I was looking to the fight kiln, but now I have to open up all my effigies. Thanks for that. So, you know.
On that topic, you had 11 on construction, right?
Yeah, and getting 11 construction assists, I tell you what, is probably the worst thing and the most tedious thing I've ever had to do in RuneScape, honestly. Which is why I'm pretty much getting construction up on the bonus XP weekend, so I never have that problem ever again.
And also, you have enough money for a viable way to get crafting up as well. So
yeah, I'll most probably get a high enough crafting level to blow my robust glass. However dirty that sounds, but I'll blow my glass until I get the flasks. Blow my glass till I get the flasks. I've rhymed again. I keep doing this, don't I? I've got a weird thing about this. But enough of my rhyming. I think we should move on to a topic of Slayer. Now, one thing I want to talk about with you is the proposed higher level after Curadel, Slayer Master. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I did.
And also the possibility of getting something like Tormented Demons as a task and stuff like that for those who have the quests. That really interests me. However, I think that if you are on a Slayer task, Tormented Demons, if you have the right gear and the right knowledge, are very quick as it is. I think with the Slayer Helm and then on a task, I think Dragon Claws will drop drastically, and I frankly, having the history that I do, that I made bank off of Dragon Claws, I don't want to see them drop too much. Honestly, at the moment they're about 12 mil. And 12 mil...
They did drop to 1/3 of the price they used
I know.
when you got them for basically your bank.
Yeah, and I will say this now, Dragon Claws are the best spec weapon in the game. Definitely, apart from depending on certain scenarios when an AGS may be better for melee purposes, because you want that one-hit KO in one game tick as opposed to 2 or something. But
or the odd chance that the Dragon Claws make an amazing spec that instantly drops someone for any apparent reason.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the Dragon Claws are the best spec weapon in the game, but they are in effect really cheap for what they are. And I think that if they released Tormented Demons as a Slayer dungeon, that means even more Dragon Claws will get put into the game, and that means that they're going to be widely available. That basically means that for PKers, it's going to be worse for you because you'll get a lot more PJers. PVM, things will become even easier because everyone will have Dragon Claws. Crashes will be a lot more constant, and it could be disastrous. I don't know a way around this. Perhaps if you're on task of the Tormented Demons, making the claw drop rarer than what it is if you're off task, to kind of balance out the kills per hour to the Dragon Claw drop rate. I don't know, perhaps that's a possibility, but I really don't want to see Dragon Claws dropping any lower than what they are at the moment.
Right. Also, in terms of Slayer, we've been getting a lot of interesting and some of them quite boring tasks lately.
Yeah. I mean, I got Dark Beasts today, as you saw. There's a video up at the moment that I released early today. I got Dark Beasts, and some guy actually got Ring of Lifed, and he killed a Dark Beast. It dropped a Dark Bow. He got Ring of Lifed, and I ended up looting his Dark Bow, which is very funny. He then came back and asked for it. I said no, and he teleported because he shouldn't have got Ring of Lifed. If he hadn't got Ring of Lifed, he told me why, and then I said no, you're not getting it back. You got rolled at Dark Beast, so you can just move on. But it's only 130k. If it was a mil, I would have given it back. But you know, he can live without 130k as a punishment for getting Ring of Lifed, I suppose. But what about you, Von? I mean, you've just got 82, haven't you?
Yes, I did, but it's not like it's big monster for most people. I mean, 82 is quite high to get for Slayer. It is a slow skill,
Yeah.
which is quite rivaled with rune crafting.
Yeah.
But it's much more enjoyable because it's in combat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Slayer, although I'd say it's longer than runecrafting. If you're ZMI runecrafting, Slayer is slightly longer. I would say, however, that Slayer, because it's so much more fun, that people don't mind. So if there was a way of making runecraft more enjoyable, they could keep the XP rates the same, or they'd keep the enjoyability factor the same, which means it's crap, but increase the XP per hour, and then more and more people will do it, and less people would complain and hunt effigies. I don't know about Suomi if he's still hunting effigies, but frankly, it's a waste of his life, a complete waste of his life. But I'm not one to judge, so
Their life choice.
yeah, exactly. So I think one last thing that we can discuss is the new bosses, such as the the King, Calphite King, and the Queen Black Dragon.
Right. So at RuneFest, they announced that they were adding 2 new bosses, and if I did hear correctly, there was also one more dragon that they were going to add, but that's in the dark for now. But we can discuss those two bosses for now.
Yep. I think first of all we should start with the Calphite King. One thing I do want them to improve, when they do release the Calphite King, is the spawn rate. The spawn rate of the Calphite Queen is about 3 minutes, which frankly is way too long. I mean, that's the only reason why I don't ever go Calphite Queen, because the kills aren't that hard, but when you've got to wait 3 minutes for a spawn, it's just too boring, honestly. I mean, you can max out probably at like 20 kills per hour. So I'm really not going to go Calphite Queen, considering the drops are crap now anyway, with Dragon Chain being so cheap as well, and being 1 in 100 drop chance. I'm not going to waste 5 hours to get 4 mil. So that's basically why I don't go to the Calphite Queen. However, let's discuss possible loot. Do you think from the Calphite King? What do you think in terms of loot? Do you have any ideas?
Well, generally good loot, if I were to guess, because they surely won't do give the same drop potential as the Calphite Queen. At least, let's hope not.
I mean, I think Jagex announced that they weren't planning to release any more dragon equipment as of yet. They didn't have any on the cards, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of weapons or armor they release with the Calphite King. Bearing in mind that the Calphite King may well coincide with the update to magical capes, because the Gothic cape, the Zamorak cape, the God capes in effect, have always been the best magic attack bonus capes in the game up until now. Even the Tokhok Hal doesn't have a better magic attack bonus. So basically, whenever you're maging, you need to use a God cape. I don't know. Perhaps the Queen Black Dragon or the Calphite King could release something that can add to magic potency, which I'd like to see actually, because I think that magic, as well as ranged, actually needs a bit of an overhaul. I mean, the Storm of Armadyl is overpowered. They did attempt to nerf it and has been nerfed slightly. But however, melee is still the preferred kind of style of choice for most people. So I'd like to see some kind of magical equipment to be released with either the Queen Black Dragon or the Calphite King.
And also, ranged is being neglected now, and basically the damage per second you get via ranged is basically, I can say shit compared to the other two methods.
Yeah, it is completely. I mean, they are releasing that new kind of the bolt that was in the behind the scenes, which I think I can't remember what it's called, the blood something bolt, which requires.
Let's just. I can say that it's only going to be used in PvP.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only made for PvP purposes.
Yeah,
So it's not going to be a game changer in any rate.
which in some ways I'm glad, because if you release a new bolt that's really high level, I think that people at Next will be using it, and Next will become easier. And I'm really not for the way that Jagex are going with this game at the moment. Everything is basically what Jagex have been doing throughout the whole time that they've been creating RuneScape 2 is that they start off with things difficulty, and you have to keep people coming to the game. And so by doing that, you release new gear, new armor, better gear, better armor, but they're not updating the bosses that people are killing. And so you're getting a constant kind of swaying where gear is getting better and and weapons are getting better with the release of dungeoneering and stuff like that, and with Next. But the bosses are not getting harder. And so for that reason, with the introduction of the Calphite King and the Queen Black Dragon, I think they need to make them very difficult, almost that they become impossible without the highest level gear, so that when they do release even higher gear, it becomes more and more possible. Probably a prime example of this is with the Corporal Beast. When the Corporal Beast first came out, it was very difficult. Now with Ganodermic, you can solo it, and loads of people are soloing it at really low levels. I mean, frankly, RuneScape's become a bit of a joke in terms of PVM. So I'd like to see things a bit more difficult. However, I do think that the way they're sounding, the Calphite King, the Queen Black Dragon, I really don't think it's going to be anything on a par like Nexus, where you're going to need, unless you're going to use safe spots, almost you're going to need at least 2 people, probably at least 3 or 4. I don't think it will be like that. I think it will be soloable, which will be a shame, I think.
I can also add something else.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear that the Queen Black Dragon is going to be bigger than the Grand Exchange. So.
Oh wow! Well, if that is the case, then that'll be most. Mind you, do you remember when Jagex released that quest where they said the monster would be bigger than the size of the Wizard's Tower? I can't remember what it was. It's where you get the nets that you can wield.
Oh,
you have to search
Colossus.
When he's supposed to be bigger than the Wizard's Tower, but all they done was minimise the screen a bit, so it made you look smaller. Which I thought, if the Queen Black Dragon's going to be the size of the Grand Exchange, I think they're overhyping it. I think that we're just going to become really small. That's all they're going to do. I don't know whether. I mean, it will. I think in effect it will possibly be able to be soloed eventually, after some things have been tactics-wise, things have been sorted out. I'd like to see prayer switching, because I think prayer switching is quite fun when you get used to it. I would also like to see having to use different attack styles like range and mage, different phases, include stuff like that. Also with the Sunfreak boss, it was almost a new concept that you had to stand in certain places so you wouldn't get hit. That'd be quite nice to see as well. So if you include all them kind of 3 things, it becomes a lot more difficult for the regular player of RuneScape, and ultimately it'll be a bit more challenging, and hopefully the rewards will be suitable for the level of difficulty.
So, and back to the beginning topic, I can say when we started talking about the Queen Black Dragon, I just remember that they should really update the King Black Dragon and the Dragon Pets.
Yeah.
Because they neglected those since Love Story came out.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Dragon rework that they done. I can't remember when it was. About 2 years ago now. I think.
Love Story.
Yeah.
Since Love Story came out.
Yeah, they done the Dragon rework, and they didn't update KBD, and they also didn't update the Dragon Pets, which, it's a bit of a shame. And I think that might be the way they're going to go with Bandos, unfortunately. Like we've been saying, that Grador might well not get a graphical update, which I think will be a real shame, unfortunately. But I think Jagex have overlooked that, which will be a bit disappointing. So I think we've got to the end of all of our points of discussion, I think, Von.
Agreed.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of podcast that we've done. It's the first of well, hopefully many podcasts, depending on the feedback. If you did enjoy this, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, give us some of your feedback, and I hope you enjoy tomorrow's video. So say bye, Yvonne.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers. Catch you later.